Now that we've finished creating our part, let's connect it to another part in an assembly. So let's begin by creating our new assembly file. So let's go File and New. And then we're going to select standard millimeter.iam. So IAM is for assembly and IPT is for part. So IAM. And make sure you're in metric. So now we have our new assembly. To begin, we are going to hit place, and that is how we drop our objects into our workspace. So let's hit place. So this window will pop up, and if you have already saved your member, then that will show up. You have to save your member before it shows up in your files. So let's open that one, and then let's just drop that in. And the view gets a bit messed up, but that's okay. And I'm going to place in 2 of those. All right. And now I'm just going to navigate using the view cube so I can get a better look at my parts. Here we go. Nice and red. Okay. So there's a few main ways which we assemble objects, and that is by constraining them. So I'm going to click on the constraint button up here in the toolbar, and several options come up. This is a really detailed menu, and it's worthwhile knowing what all of the different features do for more complex projects, but I'll let you discover that at your own pace. So it's an unfortunate choice of color here, as you can't really see the arrows, but I'm going to begin by using a mate. So these icons really well demonstrate what the features do. You have the mate and the flush. The flush puts 2 items side by side, and the mate makes them or mate with each other. They slide against each other. Each face touches each other face. So I'm going to begin by selecting this surface here, and then I'm going to just use the view cube to look around, and I'm going to select this face here. And then I'm going to hit apply and close that. So now you'll see that these 2 objects are touching each other on the surfaces. But something you'll notice is that they both kind of move around, which is a bit weird. It means I sort of lose my reference in 3D space. I don't know exactly where they are. The way that we solve that is by grounding one of the objects. I strongly recommend that you do this the moment you place something down in your assembly, as it will just keep the whole thing more constrained and it will make more sense in 3D space. So I'll right click on that part, I click grounded, and now I can't move this part whatsoever, and this part purely moves in reference to the other part. Of course, however, the parts are still not constrained really. They're just on the same, or just kind of in the same plane. So let's constrain the drill holes so that they pivot about the same point. So the way that we do that, it's a shame it's in red, but when you hover over a circle, you'll see a line pop up there. Once I've clicked it, it's blue. You might be able to see that a bit better. And then we do the same on this one, and that brings up our concentric constraints. So let's just leave that on its default option, and we'll just hit apply there. And now you'll see we can wiggle around our part. So that's good. However, it still doesn't make a whole lot of sense, as we don't actually have a screw in the hole yet. So I'll show you a really useful way of designing objects which fit into already assembled objects. So we hit the create button here. So let's make a part called just screw. How about that? And then we're going to select our template here, head over to metric, and let's go with our standard millimeter IPT as usual. Let's go OK. And then we're going to place that. Let's sketch from here, right in the middle. Our object plane will be off that. So let's try and make a 2D sketch for our new part. So you'll notice that the sketch is based off the same origin as the part which we based the new object off. That was a bit of a mouthful, but basically what it means is that we can't sketch directly where we want to right away. So we're going to need to play around with the planes and axis tools so that we can sketch where we want. Let's go back to our other view here, and then we're going to use the axis tool up here, our axis feature, and we're going to select any of the surfaces which are concentric with the pivot point, and that will generate an axis which runs right through the middle of it. So that looks good. And now we're going to use the plane tool. First, we're going to click on the axis, so that gives us our origin. And then we're going to open up the origin of the part that we've just made. So you can see that screw 1 in the breakdown here, not the origin of the assembly. That origin is somewhere else. So let's go and do this off the XZ plane. And you'll see that that creates a plane which runs right through the middle of our circle. So that is perfect. So let's go enter and create that. So we can just drag that and it will stay on that axis. So we can just drag that wherever we want it. That looks good to me. All right, and now we can sketch off that plane and we can sketch right into where we want to sketch. So let's sketch onto this plane. It still has our origin mark there and it wants us to sketch there, but we don't want to sketch there. Now we're going to make use of the project geometry tool. This is an extremely powerful tool and you'll probably find yourself using this in more complex projects. So I'm going to use the project geometry tool and I'm going to project. I'm just going to go up to a different angle here so I can see a bit better. But basically I'm going to project all of these lines which I need to draw my screw. So I'm also going to draw this inside line here as well. Cool. All right. That's good. So we're going to use the Revolve tool to do this. So we only need to sketch half of the profile, and then that's going to be rotated about the center axis to give us our whole object. So we're going to sketch off this point here, and then we're just going to make our way around the whole object. We'll go from there all the way up to the top. Just going to keep following back to the middle again here, and then from there back down to the bottom. So that gives us half of our profile there. Now let's go finish sketch. And there, that's sort of clarifies exactly what was going on a little bit better. And now let's use the Revolve tool here. So let's select our profile, or both of these here. And then we have to select our axis. So let's select this one. And that then creates a 360-degree revolved object from that profile. So just so you know, you don't have to do it that way. You can take it off full and you can set the angle. This is useful for other applications, but in our case, we want to go with the full 360 degrees to create our countersunk screw here. So let's go OK. And then we are finished with this part, so we're going to go return. There we go. Now we can hide the visibility of this work plane and the axis as well. There we go. Now we don't have any ugly lines or rectangles. And that is a completed assembly of the two members with a screw to hold it all together. Now let's save this assembly, and you'll see that the new parts that you create during your assembly will also be saved alongside the assembly. So you don't need to save them separately. So let's hit save as. We'll save it as connected members, and then we'll hit save. If you go to that file, you will see that screw and the assembly are all saved together.